As you probably know, there are a range of other sexually transmitted diseases apart from HIV. It is important to have a basic knowledge of these as a volunteer, because you may be asked questions about them by service users. It is also useful knowledge for looking after your own health. The first point to make is that co-infection with another untreated STI increases the chances of acquiring HIV should the person be exposed. This is mostly due to the fact that STI cause a degree of inflammation, typically at sites where sexual penetration occurs, no matter how severe the infection is. Indeed, sometimes STI infection can be subclinical, meaning infection is present but no causing any discernible symptoms. The inflammatory process, which occurs with many STI, is specifically able to cause breaches within protective mucous membranes, for example in the vagina or anus, which make it easier for the HIV virus to make its way into the bloodstream. Broadly, sexually transmitted infections can be parasitic, that is, a complete living organism feeding off its host, fungal, bacterial or viral. Viruses are parasitic in a sense as they require a living cell to be able to replicate. Bacteria, on the other hand, are able to replicate on their own. This is because viruses lack the internal cellular structures to replicate on their own. They have no nucleus, basically being simple collections of genetic material. Technically, before a virus enters a living cell, it is in reality no more alive than a rock. Bacterial STI are commonly treated with a course of antibiotics. Viral STIs are harder to treat, because antibiotics are only effective against bacteria and not viruses. The best protection against viral, and indeed all STI, is the practice of good sexual health habits such as the use of condoms. It is also possible to provide protection against some STIs through vaccination, though vaccines are not available for all viral STI. We will now go through a number of common sexually transmitted infections. Amoebiasis and giardiasis are intestinal parasites consisting of one-celled organisms, which populate and replicate within the gut, causing gastrointestinal symptoms such as diarrhea. They are relatively contagious and most commonly passed on during anal intercourse. As such, gay men and heterosexuals who practice anal sex may be at a slightly higher risk. The crab louse usually is found in the person's pubic hair. Although the louse cannot jump, it can also live in other areas of the body that are covered with coarse hair, such as the eyelashes. Humans are the only known hosts of the crab louse. Infection with crab lice results from direct skin-on-skin contact, typically during an intimate act. The main symptom of infestation with crab lice is itching, usually in the pubic hair area. Scabies is a highly infectious parasitic skin infection caused by a microscopic mite, which burrows under the skin. Again, infection usually occurs from direct skin-on-skin contact. Trichomoniasis is a parasitic infection, which is a cause of vaginal inflammation, vaginitis, in women. Symptoms experienced include pain, a burning sensation or itching in the penis or vagina. Fungal infections, which may be sexually transmitted, are normally caused by a species of yeast called Candida. It is this pathogen which is responsible for causing vaginal thrush in women. Chlamydia is probably now the most common sexually transmitted infection in the UK. It is caused by a bacteria, and may infect a number of areas including the penis, vagina and anus. In both men and women it can cause infertility if left untreated. Indeed, it is one of the leading causes of preventable infertility worldwide. Chlamydia is so dangerous to fertility and long-term health, because it can be symptomless in up to 70% of people. Signs and symptoms may include abnormal vaginal bleeding in women, discharge from the penis or vagina, abdominal pain, painful sexual intercourse, fever, painful urination or the urge to urinate more often than usual. Syphilis is a bacterial STI, which prior to the advent of antibiotics was often fatal. The signs and symptoms of syphilis vary depending in which of the 4 stages it presents: primary, secondary, latent, and tertiary. The primary stage presents with a single chancre of firm, painless, non-itchy skin ulceration. Secondary syphilis with a diffuse rash, which frequently involves the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. Latent syphilis with little to no symptoms, and tertiary syphilis with abnormal growth of various tissues, neurological, or cardiac symptoms. Gonorrhea is a bacterial STI. The usual symptoms in men are a burning sensation with urination and penile discharge. Women, on the other hand, are asymptomatic half the time or have vaginal discharge and pelvic pain. In both men and women, if gonorrhea is left untreated, it may spread locally, causing pelvic inflammatory disease or throughout the body, affecting joints and heart valves. Genital and anal warts are caused by the human papillomavirus, which will be covered in more detail later on. There are a number of herpes viruses, most of which are not sexually transmitted. Common infections caused by herpes viruses include chickenpox and cold sores. Sexually transmitted or genital herpes is often symptomless. Often genital herpes occurs in the form of flare-ups, which come and go, causing clusters of genital sores, which look similar in appearance to cold sores. Hepatitis is a term, which means inflammation of the liver. In a sexually transmitted context, hepatitis is usually caused by either the hepatitis B or hepatitis C virus. Other hepatitis viruses exist, but they are not commonly sexually transmitted. Finally, HIV, which we have been covering throughout, is a virus, which is commonly sexually transmitted.